So we're going to get started with our town hall. So thank you very, very much for being with us. As I said this morning, we need to have your input. So it would be fantastic to have you giving us your views, but also asking us questions about all the different things that we would like to change in RAS. My name is Aude Billard. I'm serving as the president of IEEE Robotics and Automation Society. And the first thing I would like to ask you to do is to go on Slido. And same for people who are following us online. We're going to use only Slido. So if you don't mind, please go and scan the QR code with the passcode. The password is very simple. It's ICRA 2025. And yes, you can pick up your RAS hat, but I don't quite know where it is. Somewhere. All right, join again. Slido twice. Same, I imagine. All right, you're good to go? Very briefly, I'm sure most of you know that RAS is sort of working a little bit like a legislative and executive sort of construction. So we have a legislative body which is composed of 18 members that you vote for regularly. So please do pay attention that you're going to have to re-elect some of those people. They are the AdCom. And then we also have an executive committee, and actually the AdCom votes for the executive committee. So it's very similar to what you have in any country. These are just very briefly, the name of all the people sitting on the executive committee. I'm just showing that to you so that you can recognize them, and if you have any question, you can ask question. They're going to speak to you about the thing that they do for us in a second. Our president-elect is Nancy, who is also the program chair for this conference and is doing tons of different things, and it's absolutely amazing how much she can do at the same time. The AdCom, the administrative committee, these are the people that who you elect. These are the people who are serving now for 2025. This is the class for 2026 and 2027. And we are very fortunate to have a lot of people who help us with all of this, who have put together the Slido, all the slides, and everything that you see from RAS. And those people you have here, for instance, Grace, who is behind every of the membership activity, as well as Saraja, who has been preparing all the Slido that you're using now. I will stop here. I don't want to speak more. I will give the hand to our Vice President for Conference Activity, Darwin Caldwell, who will present to you a couple of questions we have about the future of our conference, and that's where you can use your Slido to give us advice on how you would like the conference to be shaped, in particular ICRA.
Thank you. Great to see so many people here. So I'll move on quickly. We have lots of slides. One of the things I want to look at in terms of conferences is the future, where we're actually going to go. At this particular conference, we have, I was told a little bit earlier by Seth, we've 6,800 registrations already. We hope it'll go over 7,000. Yokohama yesterday was 7,000. The number of people in society is now well into the 20,000s. We are the fourth largest society. We are growing enormously. And with that, the conference has grown enormously, and we need to think about the future of the conference, where it's going to be and how we're going to do it. One issue that relates to that is sustainability. So sustainability of the conference, how we actually grow this in the future, or do we grow this in the future, and also sustainability for the planet. The information here shows how sustainability doesn't matter what we do, essentially, with the conference halls, everything comes down to travel. So 95% of the actual cost in terms of sustainability is in travel. You can actually see that here. We did some work just to look at sustainability issues and to see where were the best places to actually hold conferences, the ones which cause the least carbon footprint. And so we looked at this for different areas of the world. And if we look at conferences being held in North America or being held in the Americas, you end up with an area somewhere in the Detroit, Michigan area as being the low point, the least carbon footprint. In Europe, we end up with this, the carbon footprint somewhere in Northern Europe, the UK, Belgium, Northern Germany. And is there a third one? There should be one for Asia as well. Let me go back. Ah, this is slide. There's actually, and for Asia, there is actually, again, a low point, a carbon low point, which is somewhere in the Shanghai, Beijing area. And so the question we're wanting to get your feedback on is, we want to look at options for the future. Should we actually continue to run conferences the way we actually do? Should we have this rotation between 3 different geographical areas and different cities? Should we have 3 different geographical areas, but a fixed city, so a fixed venue? Or should we have one fixed location, one fixed global location? And so if you actually scan this, you can actually vote on what your preference would actually be. Are they voting? People voting at the minute. Is this it? Okay, so everyone wants to remain with the the way we currently do it. Okay, that's good. So the second question we have is, to continue to grow the conferences. Okay, so the conference is growing. My first time I came to ICRA was actually in Atlanta in, I think, 1992. And there were about 1,000 people. I'm back here again, and there are 7,000 people. And you can imagine in 20 years' time, it could be 20,000 people. Okay, so do we continue to grow the conference size? Do we cap it at the current size, 7,000 people? Or do we do something to try and actually reduce this size? And what's your preference in terms of the growth? Again, okay, this is a little bit more nuanced. Okay, but the majority, not the majority, but the largest vote appears to be to continue to grow. And then we look at cap at the current level and looking at some options for the future to try and to reduce down to more concentrated size. Okay. And then just a couple of final things. The IEEE RAS is actually running programs on sustainability. If you actually look at this, you'll be able to get much more information on sustainability. And there are actually some travel opportunities for you. So this is a way to actually get some money to be able to travel if you're being sustainable. So if in certain continents you travel by train, if you travel in certain ways, you can actually get travel grants. So if you actually look at this, you will be able to find some ways of getting money back from the society to help support your travels. Okay? That's the last one? Yeah, okay. So Ludovic is next.
Yeah, we get quite a few questions from the poll.
Okay.
So maybe you can just take one of those. By the way, you can ask questions on Slido as well, and you can sum them up, and we're going to take those that have the highest score. There is one, but I must say we don't understand what it means. It's can we require a limitation section? So I'm not sure what this means, but I'm going to take the next one, which is, could a cybersecurity and robotics track be added to ICRA?
Could what?
A cybersecurity robotics track.
Absolutely. If cybersecurity was something that the community actually feels is important, then that can actually be added. It's up to the community to actually do that. And so I'm guessing it would be cybersecurity in the context of robotic systems. Yeah, there's no reason why that couldn't be done.
Yeah, and just a second question is, people would like to see more benchmarking by requiring that people document and provide executable code, I suspect, when submitting a paper.
More benchmarking?
Benchmarking and having executable code submitted and documented at the same time as you submit, I guess, your conference paper.
Okay, I mean, if that's what people are actually, if that's the way people feel that they would actually like to do, to have benchmarking into that, then we can actually look at that as part of the submissions. We are actually, again, looking at the whole submission process and the lengths of the papers, etc., and what can actually be included. So this is all open for discussion. If people feel strongly about these types of inputs, then feed that back, and we will then look to see whether the community actually feels strongly about it and take action on that.
Okay, and maybe just one last very important question. To ensure transparency and review quality, can RAS conference, especially ICRA and IRAS, start using open review? And that's maybe a question that also Bram can take.
Yeah, and that is something that we are actually looking at. Bram, when he's actually talking, he's actually VP for publications. So we are actually looking at open review. We've actually the society has actually started to look at doing this for some conferences, but we didn't want to do it at ICRA because it's very large. It's our largest conference. We wanted to start with some of the smaller conferences, and so that's a process that's ongoing. And yes, I'm sure Bram can actually answer that question even better than I can. Okay. Ludovic.
Hi everyone, my name is Ludovic Righetti. I'm the Vice President for Media Services. Just wanted to make a clarification on the call for proposal that we have is not exactly a travel award, is a proposal for sustainability grants, where if you have great ideas and great ways on how to render either conferences, robotic practices, or anything that would contribute to a more sustainable world, we are giving awards up to $10,000. So feel free to scan this code. So it's not just travel, but it's really about learning and documenting best practices so we can really scale up and be more sustainable in general. So if you're interested in that, it's also announced on our website. The first deadline is June. We're going to have another round in November as well. So feel free to apply to that. So as part of the Media Services Board, the first thing is just an announcement, is another question. We are actually updating our website, so stay tuned. Hopefully, this is in a few months, I hope, as soon as possible, you'll see a new website that I hope is going to be very nice. We have a lot of social media accounts. These are links to get them, so feel free to follow us on any of these accounts. We have a LinkedIn RAS group, which is not the main RAS news. It's more a community-based a group, so feel free to go there and post things and share things with the community. The other accounts, so LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, are the RAS. That's where we post the main RAS news. Since we have many accounts, and we could have many more, right? One question that we have for you is, where do you get your information? So what kind of social media matters to you? And maybe what kinds you don't care so much about? So if you wanted to answer, I will actually do the same, because I get to vote. All right, give you a few more seconds. So it seems that LinkedIn is really the main source of information for you. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised to see that the newsletter and the website also important source of information for you. So I guess it's a good thing that you're trying to improve our website. Coming on that, but actually, building on that, we have another question. So we heard from several members of RAS concerns about the use of Twitter, X. And so we wanted to know your opinion about what should we do about it. Should we keep posting RAS, official RAS news there? Should we stop doing that? Should we not change any of the things that we're currently doing? So yeah, we really need to know from you, because that's not a decision we want to make unilaterally. It's a decision we want the community to make. And I guess since most of you are using LinkedIn, it's an easy question to answer. All right, waiting a few more seconds. Okay, so it seems that we have about 2/3 of the people who feel that we could stop using Twitter, X, and okay, but we still have about 14% that still, no, we still have the rest that think we should still, 31% that, a third that thinks that we should keep using Twitter or do more. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you so much. We have just quick news. We have a social media ambassador program. So we have students that are doing amazing work. They took over our social media and they're posting a lot of things. So all the cool things that you see right now posted on the RAS website about ICRA, it's thanks to them. So really want to thank them, thank the previous one we had, a previous ICRA, IROS, and CASE, and we're going to keep doing that. So if you're a student interested in that, wait for the IROS announcement, CASE announcement if you want to be part of that. And the last thing, on Thursday we're organizing a science communication crash course. If you want to learn about science communication, feel free to come. Professionals in science communication are going to talk about this. So that's the last slide for me, and the next one is Katja.
So just for those of you who put question on Slido, we're going to take question only for each of the topic that is being presented. So we did not get any question about the media board, so we will just go on with member activity. So if you have any question for Katja, then please do ask them now. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Katja Mombauer. I'm the Vice President for Member Activities. So I'm chairing the Member Activities Board. And our goal is to provide services to all members, to increase the number of members, and also to increase diversity in our society. So this is essentially the mission. And one thing, or one place where we really perform a lot of activities is at conferences and make them really accessible for everyone, and also help people to meet and to mingle. There are a few questions which come as a surprise to me. So apparently now we want to know which country you're joining us from, so that's interesting to see. So yeah, USA is biggest. Okay, still a lot of people typing. Okay, great, I think we are done. So that seems to be an easy question. I think we have more responses than before. Okay, great. Multiple countries. Okay, should we continue? Okay, so yeah, glad to see that also in this room we have people from many different countries, so that's really nice. Okay, yeah, so this is just an overview of the RAS membership and the development. So yeah, you can see that over the past years we have really had a steep incline, and at the end of last year we had more than 22,000 members, and that made us at one point the 4th biggest society in IEEE. And yeah, that also shows you the different geographic regions here. Okay, that also splits it down a bit more. Okay, yeah, as you can see, that's an overview by gender. Still, unfortunately, not too many female members, so we are still trying to increase that. We have a lot of student members, also graduate student members, and yeah, also senior members. Okay, so now are my slides. Yeah, one of the things we are doing a lot is organizing events at conferences. So MEP also includes a lot of committees. the Student Activities Committee, the Women in Engineering Committee, the Young Professionals Committee, with all different target groups, and they are organizing amazing events, receptions, lunches, and so on. And then we are also supporting a lot of diversity events of also of other groups which are outside of RAS and which we co-organize or support financially. And the events are usually organized at ICRA, at IRAS, at CASE, and then recently also we started doing it at other RAS-sponsored and co-sponsored conferences, like at Humanoids, at Romans, and maybe more are coming. So I would now like to know if you are participating in or have been participating in a sponsored event at this ICRA. So I put a few there. And we also would like to know how many of you tried but couldn't get in or didn't even know about that. So that would mean we would have to improve our advertisement. Okay, so majority would have liked. So I can also encourage you, in case you try to book but didn't get in, maybe try to come by anyway, because sometimes people book and then don't show up. So another call also to, if you book, please also come, because you may have taken away seats from someone else. So, but it's also worth coming and just checking if you still might come in. Okay, so yeah, we have a split over the different committees. But okay. Okay, so maybe we should do more events if more people wanted to do that. Okay, yeah, we also run many different programs and initiatives to support our members. The biggest one we have is the Member Support Program, which is under the motto to give back to content creators at conferences. So we essentially have two pillars. So one is to provide registration discounts to all presenting authors of an accepted paper at conferences. And the second one is to provide a larger travel support for all students which are presenting a paper, and also to authors for developing countries. But of course you have to apply. We then also have diversity increasing programs. So one is start with the lower one, with the Ideas program. That's to bring people, really new people to the conferences which have never published a paper but are really interested in the field, to allow them to come there. And we always have a lot of applications. And then we also have the Sparks program, which is a faculty exchange program with developing countries to foster the academic exchange. And then also outside conferences, you probably all know there's RAS chapters all over the world. And they can also ask for RAS support. So we have each chapter gets a startup grant, but we also have regular calls for initiative grants. And then there also is a new, smaller initiative version for student chapters. And we also have the Distinguished Lecturer Program, which allows chapters to apply for, essentially for distinguished lecturers as speakers for their local events, which would then also be funded by RAS. And then, also very new, we started supporting the IEEE EPICS program, which also supports robotics projects, not by chapters, but by members outside of chapters for performing robotics project, in particular performed by students. Yeah, and then we have a lot of other smaller programs which we are just starting, also including the special Best Paper Award for female authors. If you're interested, you can also come to the Women in Engineering lunch tomorrow and see the first cohort. Okay, oops, I think I have to go back. That was jumping over that. Yeah, I would also like to know how many of you have already benefited from the different programs or awards that I was just talking about. So I think, and also who of you didn't know about it or never applied to them. Okay,
and maybe
so
as we continue, maybe you can take a few questions. Katja, we have a few questions online for you.
yeah.
So the first one is, could you decrease the professional membership fee to make it more accessible to people? Most companies don't pay for membership.
Sorry,
Could you decrease professional membership fee to make it more accessible?
increase or decrease?
Decrease.
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 Okay, that's
Not increase.
just
Oh,
a
we can
decrease.
increase. Actually, do you know that the RAS
this is-
membership is super cheap? It's the IEEE membership that is expensive.
Yes, that's RAS membership. And yeah, we discussed that today. So I think with IEEE, we have to talk to IEEE to make it cheaper. RAS already is quite low, but we are also discussing options here.
So we have so yeah, I mean, you're really paying about $7 or $9 for RAS. So all the rest is not us. Now we have a second question. A disproportionate amount of the silent work to make RAS happen is done by our few female members. Can RAS take steps to ensure tenure decisions value this?
Okay, good idea. But what is the proposal? How RAS should do that?
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one, but by all means, we're happy to maybe write support letters.
Yeah, we can write support letters.
And we thank you. And yes, it's always unfair. And thank you for all of you for volunteering. We're trying to rebalance this as much as possible. So yes. Last one. So this is a question that comes from abroad, and they say that there are local sections that have a lot of support, more support to organize regional topical meetings. Could RAS provide more support for those topical meetings abroad? And
Which
I believe
topical
that
meetings?
we do that, and you can comment on that. There is a lot of money goes to the RAS chapter to provide.
But what are topical meetings? Okay, so we have this chapter initiative grant. So if you want to do something locally in your local chapter, you can apply for anything. It can be a topical meeting, or it can be an educational meeting of your chapter. You can apply. Yeah, I mean, I think if you mean topical meetings in terms of something related to the, I don't know, TCs, that my colleague will be talking about that later. So.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Okay,
Katja.
what I briefly wanted to mention is, I mean, we had some questions here for you. We will also launch a bigger questionnaire because we really want to make sure we better address your needs. And yeah, that will be distributed soon, so please watch out for that. So, thank you.
So now we're going to have Chad Jenkins, who is our Vice President for Educational Activity. He's going to ask you plenty of questions about how we can improve all the education that we are providing to the world, and also to different chapters and different levels to have more people onboarding in robotics.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much. Before I get started with the newest board, the Educational Activities Board, which is in its second year, I just want to say a little bit about invisible labor, in that it's not just about papers, it's about getting to be a part of our community, and there's all sorts of benefits that you may not always see. So I just want to start with that. The mission of the Educational Activities Board is to develop a comprehensive strategy for RAS education programs, and this is done through improving existing programs and innovating innovating for new programs. We were founded, as I said, in 2024, formally as a committee under the Membership Activities Board. One thing that I would also say is probably our largest program is the technical education program. That funds support for seasonal schools, summer schools, and if you apply, you can get up to $25,000 for supporting your event. But one thing that we're also looking at is a new initiative to build RAS University, and so we'd like to get your question, get your input about where you go to find educational materials in robotics. So here's just a number of options. So do you look at YouTube videos and stream, textbooks, open source repositories like GitHub? Massively open online courses, university course websites, other sources that are there. The university faculty member in me that teaches a lot of university classes is a little disturbed by the amount of streaming. I have to compete with a lot of YouTubers and influencers for robotics knowledge. But that's really good feedback. I think, you know, as RAS-U gets developed, you'll find that it'll probably be very high up on this list of options for you to learn about robotics and starting from the beginning level all the way through advanced topics. And so thank you for those responses. All right, and we'll move on. And so as we talked about before, RAS University is an open university. It's educational content on robotics and automation that's going to be available for free. So this is going to be available for everybody to use. And so if you're interested in potentially using this or contributing to it, feel free to contact us at ras.ieee.org. One of our larger projects that we also have is the Robotics History Project, and this is to document the development of robotics since the early days in the 1960s, and you can find this on our website. And this has a number of oral history interviews with robotics pioneers and emerging pioneers. And so this is videos and transcripts and short topical videos, and this is building out to a larger analysis of the history of robotics and the trends and the timeline. And so we're building that out as we go along. One thing that you'll also see here is that we're doing at ICRA is outreach. So we're doing conference co-located STEM outreach activities. And so this is just a few pictures from Humanoids, where we ran a child care program, so to engage with children who might be at the conference, so giving them tours of the exhibition floor and also the general public, running small courses, and just exposing the larger public from younger as well as broader populations to what robotics holds as we're starting to really grow as a field. One thing that we'd also like to get your feedback on is competitions. So you're seeing a number of great competitions that are happening on the exhibition floor. But we know that people that a lot of roboticists have come to robotics through some sort of competition. I don't think we have a null hypothesis here. So there's no no here. So you can kind of treat other as no, but our other or no right there. But we'd just like to get your feedback on competitions that may have been influential or in your development as a roboticist. And so we've got RoboCup, which is robot soccer across the world. If you go down to the exhibition floor, you'll see a number of great competitions, such as the racing competition. It escapes my name, but it used to be F110th. Robo Racer, that's the name of it. There's also competitions in manipulation, and so those are great. First Robotics and Vex Robotics, so those are high school K through 12 competitions. Micro Mouse, if you've never seen Micro Mouse, you get little robots to solve a maze very, very quickly, and so this feedback is really helpful. So feel free to continue to fill that in, and thank you very much.
And there was just one question, but you did answer that, which is, what are you planning to do for young students who do not have a background in robotics?
Traditionally our membership is university level and research level roboticists, but increasingly we are doing outreach at near our conferences. So that's our conference co-located STEM outreach activities. So that's happened at Humanoids in 2004. It's happening now on the competition down on the exhibition floor for 2025, and we're planning to work with conferences in 2026. I believe that as we see the evolution of RAS-U, you'll be able to have more content that will engage earlier on in roboticist careers. And there's all sorts of other opportunities which we would love to be able to engage with people that have great ideas and would love to bring them to us.
Thank you very much, Chad. So our next Vice President is Vice President for Publication Activity. Bram will tell you about the new journal that we are launching and the new journal that we plan to launch, as well as the Double Anonymous. We'd like to have feedback from you on this.
Yeah, so thank you. So indeed, thanks to all your great research work, our publications are in a very healthy state. The number of submissions is increasing a lot, but that of course requires a responsibility because it needs time to edit and review all those papers, so please take also your responsibility there. I saw one of the questions was about the timeliness, and I must say that all our RAS journals are much faster than when you go over a conference, because it's even faster. Moreover, when you have a RAS journal accepted, you're automatically invited to present it during a RAS conference. And apart from our RAS fully sponsored publications, we have also co-sponsored publications in several topics. So that leads to one of the first questions on publications. Typically, more fundamental strategic research is published. How you feel about publishing more applied research in robotics and automation? So I think most is no, some yes. So for that, we have good news that we have two new journals for this. And so the first is that IEEE Transactions on Field Robotics, which since 1 year is under the RAS family because it existed before under a different name. And so you see that we have 37 accepted papers to date and many more still in the pipeline. And so the new editor-in-chief will be Tim Barefoot, who is also present here at the conference. And also Sanjeev will arrive tomorrow. So if you have more questions about this new journal, please raise it to them. Moreover, since the beginning of this year, we have the IEEE Robotics and Automation practice. We see in our exhibitions the growing interest of also investors in companies, and we want to bridge closer academia, research, and companies. And that's why Torsten Kruger, also here present, we launched a new journal on this, really targeting practitioners. And so it's limited to 4 pages. Also, automatically, you will be invited to go to a dedicated track in our RAS conference to present a paper, but you have plenty of web page to have supplementary material to make it also reproducible, as was also one of the questions in the Slido. And so one of the things, several town halls ago, we raised the question, what about double anonymous? It was also raised during our IEEE RAS survey, where the majority of you asked for this. So we also implemented this, so that our paper review management system are ready for it. We developed guidelines for it, for a software, because, for example, robot identities should not be hidden on pictures, and so on. And so all our RAS journal papers are now having this rule. Humanoids and RoboSoft also, and gradually also the new conferences will adopt it. Since you asked for it, we also want to have the question, what you think about this. So have you engaged with peer-reviewed under a double anonymous, meaning that not only the authors see the reviewers, but also that the reviewers don't see the author identities. So I think many like it. Some are neutral. So at least I see that not a lot dislike it, which is good, which would also be strange compared to the questions in previous town halls and surveys. So I think these were my slides. I think, are there questions popping up about publications?
Yes, we have several questions, and we're going to take indeed a few more questions, but we have many presentations, and unfortunately we started late, so there was a question whether we could have more discussion. Unfortunately, we started a little late, but I'm going to try to take as many as possible. So the first question is for the RAS journal publication, for instance, transaction robotics, what happens now with the evolutionary paper based on accepted conference paper? In other words, what happens with evolutionary paper?
Yeah, I think having first a conference paper and then adding some more work to have it as a journal paper, yeah, that's challenging in many ways. First of all, it's double work for you. Secondly, it's also double work to edit it and to review it. Moreover, what happens to the citations? Hey, we have reduced impact factors for our journals due to this. So I think we gradually need to avoid this, and that's why we also made, for example, the letters, which is very successful. I see Tamin here is doing a great job to manage that incredible journal. And so I think we can gradually have less papers, but have more impactful work by concentrating your publications, your research work in journal publications, and automatically anyway you're allowed to present it at a conference. So I think that's more the future for our society on this.
So there are two questions regarding the new journal, Robotics and Automation Practice. The first one is this journal directed solely to industry? And the second question is, can you compare this journal to RAM?
It's a good question. So the practice is really dedicated for practitioners, but that doesn't exclude that also academic work can go there. But it means that we really want to see in it what is the research goal for a practitioner in it. I think so it's more for mature work that a practitioner can adopt very easily. Also, for example, patents, if you have that, or for example, startups, established companies. So all of them can publish as long as it's relevant for the practitioner. For the magazine, we're also thinking how to reform that more. And so that's also more the research work. So I think there is still an important difference between the two journals.
Okay, so there is a question about, there is a debate, in fact, about whether reviewers should get paid or get some discount or travel grants. So some reply already that they shouldn't be paid and that's part of the job.
Yeah, so a few years ago, Auth showed how many people submitted papers and how that related to how much it was reviewed. And so we see big differences there. So that's why we're implementing in PaperSept a kind of mileage system that we can track how much you review and how much submit. And then we are thinking of ways as a stick and a carrot, how we can really maybe punish people that have consequently rejecting to review papers or also using AI, which is completely forbidden to do your reviews. But on the other hand, also reward people that review, that take a lot of responsibility, for example, by having reduced registrations fees for the conference. But yeah, we're an enormous amount of members, so that means that all our IT systems have to adopt it, which of course requires time. But that's also the contacts we have now with PaperSept to implement that, and that hopefully soon will roll out. But it's always not so easy to do on all those databases to make it reliable.
Okay, thank you very much, Bram. By the way, if you have questions and you cannot access Slido, you can also stand up and line up, and we're going to take questions also from the room. So thank you very much, Bram.
Thank you.
Who's the next person? So the next Vice President is Kyujin Cho, Vice President for Technical Activity.
Hello, my name is Kyujin Cho, Vice President of Technical Activities. So, are you currently a member of a technical committee? Okay. So, the technical committee is a smaller society within RAS. As you've seen, RAS has like 22,000 members, so we need smaller communities within RAS to give you a better. Wow, so 60%, only 36%. So there's a lot of potential. Thank you. So this is one example of a TC activities. This is TC on Computer and Robot Vision. So they do mentoring and social events. We provide them financial support to do like dinners together, social luncheon, and they organize workshops and sponsorship. They also give out like CRV Best Paper Award, RAM, TC Spotlight. They do special issues, and they also created this kind of SLAM handbook, all led by the TC co-chairs. So, which community building and outreach activities do you believe are the most important for a TC to organize? TC socials, food, newsletters, emails, sponsoring lunch dinner for workshop speakers, sponsoring lunch dinner for workshop speakers. So there is what we call a welcome kit. It's a document compiling all TC-related talks. So if you're in that TC, you get that welcome kit, and you get to see all the talks related to your TC. Inviting startups to join the workshop. We started doing this to get more startups involved. Okay, so everyone likes food, TC socials. All right. And which technical and scholarly contributions do you believe are the most important for TC to organize? Workshops, special issues, best paper award. We're discussing about best PhD thesis award and sponsoring workshop awards. Okay, workshops. Highlighting trends and key advances in the TC's area is also, considered very important. Special issues, webinars. Okay, all right, workshops, number 1. Thank you. So TAB oversees 47 technical committees. We have, we divide them into 5 clusters, and there's what we call super TCs. Those are some larger TCs and some more active TCs. We call them technical communities and blue ribbon TCs. And we try to do a more systematic TC operation and to help the TC co-chairs build better communities by providing them operating guide, manuals, and those kind of things. We review them, we help them and review them at the same time, and we give them TC operating fund to do like this kind of TC socials. And we have like regular TAB meetings where the TC co-chairs meet together. And we started doing what we call TABSEC dinner before the conference starts to welcome students to this conference. Then we started doing what we call TAB startups with Industry Activities Board to connect startups to the workshop. So if you're interested, you can click on that QR code and it will bring you to our website. All right, thank you. Any questions?
We don't have any question about technical activity. That was perfect. I guess that was very clear, and people are maybe hungry. So last but not least, obviously, we're going to have Andrea Kay, Vice President for Industrial Activity. So do take the opportunity, last opportunity, to ask questions here online, or to be on the spots there to ask us questions, and then we're going to close the session.
Please do. And to put it in a nutshell, we've just updated the RAS website industry government page, where any questions I hope are answered, or in these brochures, which just give a talking point. We're about industry activities that include startups and entrepreneurship activities. It includes standards. It includes data and roadmaps, not just for academics. So if your questions are academic, I'm not the right person. If your questions are relating to entrepreneurship, industry, roadmaps, where are things going, that's what we try to do and liaise with the other boards. One thing I want to draw attention to is every year since 2005, we've worked with the International Federation of Robotics for the IEERA Award for Innovation and Entrepreneurship in Robotics. And it's gone to people like Joe Jones from iRobot, to ABB, to Fourier Robotics. It's a really great list of good robotics commercialization of innovation. Nominate. Or if you know someone that you think should be, then nominate. Nominations close May 31st. And there is a QR code that takes you to the information about the IEER award. It's also on the RAS website on the industry section. So to keep it brief, there's no Slido questions. And this is just a little bit more saying, we do a lot of things for industry, startups, entrepreneurs, standards, data and roadmaps, and that could be why you've never heard that RAS has an industry activities board, but you might be interested in the future. Thank you very much.
All right, that caught me unprepared. So thank you very much, Andra. We just got a question for Eugene on TC. How can you get a TC? How can you propose a new TC? There is a process to that. There is a procedure. You can submit a request, and then it gets evaluated. And depending on whether it's a completely novel topic, then it may be requested to be created a new TC. Otherwise, it may be also merged with an existing TC. But you get to hear from the TC board very rapidly in about a month or so. So there is a process. Please check the website, and you can submit an application there. And I don't see any question about industry, which is worrying on its own. So I assume that you're fine with all. Oh, I'm sorry. How does the career fair work at ICRA? All right. So unfortunately, it's the career fair has been started, but it's only being built up. So you can sign up for it, and you can meet with an industry. So you can upload your CV, and if you can also post a job. We actually plan, and here I cannot poll you other than asking you to raise your hand. So we're actually thinking about giving all the academic people, and actually almost everybody except students, the opportunity to post jobs, academic jobs as well, on our career fair. Who will be interested in doing this? So raise of hands, I'm sorry. Okay, it's not bad, and okay. So, and the career fair is, you can upload your CV. If an industry is interested, then they're gonna contact you, and there are places where you can have an interview and a discussion with the industry. Maybe you may want to take some of those, because there are more. Can you sponsor workshops on university to connect students with industrial robots before graduation? Can you sponsor workshops or universities to connect students with industry, I guess, or industrial robots before graduation?
We work with the technical communities who would be more specific in their targeting. And in many ways, what we do is okay, well, we work with the other boards. That's one of the key things. So a workshop that you want to have at your university is probably specifically targeted. And I know which industry might be relevant. You know which topics might be relevant. So we'd try to do something with TAB as well. And we certainly look at providing support for startups if you're on an entrepreneurial bent, because universities already also do a good job of liaising with industry, but not always a great job of liaising with early stage startups or giving you the information you need to grow your own startup. So we try to tackle the things that aren't already being done. Was it, wasn't it?
Yeah, and there was a question as, do you know if anyone has gotten a job from RAS conference like ICRA? It is the first year when we launched the career fair, so we don't know, but we very much hope that it's gonna have an impact. So we don't know. And I don't see any other questions. So I want to thank really all the vice presidents for all the work that they've put in to prepare the slides, all the staff who was behind that, and all of you for your patience, but especially for your feedback. Thank you very much, and please enjoy ICRA.